Every person you've trusted has lied to you. Not occasionally, systematically. The disturbing truth is that humans lie an average of 1.65 times per day, according to University of Massachusetts research. You've been reading people wrong your entire life, not because you're naive, but because liars exploit specific neurological blind spots in your brain. By the end, I'll reveal the exact microexpression cluster that exposed a killer in a 1998 FBI interrogation. We'll explore 3 mechanisms liars use against your perception. First, the subconscious behavioral baseline hijack. Second, the linguistic distancing pattern your brain ignores. Third, the microexpression window that lasts only 1/25th of a second. Each builds on the last. But the real revelation, the technique that intelligence agencies don't publish, arrives only at the end. Stay until then. Everything before is preparation. You've felt it before, that unshakable discomfort after a conversation. Something was off, but you couldn't name it. You defended the person. You rationalized their story. Weeks later, you discovered the lie. That moment of retroactive clarity is psychologically devastating because it forces a brutal question. What else have you missed? This feeling isn't weakness. It's evidence of a systematic exploitation of your empathy architecture. The wound cuts deeper than betrayal. Dr. Bella DePaulo's landmark 1996 study at the University of Virginia confirmed humans detect lies at only 54% accuracy, barely above random chance. We are evolutionarily terrible lie detectors. Our brains are wired for social cohesion, not deception detection. We want to believe. That desire to trust is the precise vulnerability every skilled liar has learned, consciously or not, to weaponize against you. But here's where psychology reveals something genuinely disturbing. The most dangerous liars aren't pathological. They're ordinary people whose brains adapted. Research from Harvard's psychology department shows that practiced liars experience measurably less cognitive load than truthful speakers. Lying, for them, has become neurologically efficient. Your instinctive trust sensors were calibrated for honest communication. You're running old software against an upgraded threat. The system needs a fundamental recalibration. The first mechanism is baseline disruption. Before a liar deceives, they reveal their honest behavioral template in the opening 60 seconds of interaction. Their natural blink rate, gesture frequency, speech rhythm, these are calibration data. The subconscious shift that occurs when deception begins is measurable. FBI behavioral analyst Joe Navarro documented that liars compress their lips, increase self-touching gestures, and reduce illustrative hand movements by an average of 40% under deception stress. The second mechanism is linguistic distancing, perhaps the most silently powerful signal available. When people lie, they instinctively create psychological distance from their fabrication using language structure. They shift from "I did" to "what happened was." They eliminate contractions, "I did not" instead of "I didn't." They reduce exclusive words like "but," "except," "without." Linguistic analysis software analyzing Bill Clinton's 1998 testimony identified these exact patterns before any behavioral cue became visible. The third mechanism requires training your eyes for something your brain actively suppresses seeing. Microexpressions, involuntary facial movements lasting between 1/25th and 1/5th of a second, bypass conscious control entirely. Psychologist Paul Ekman identified 7 universal microexpressions in his 1969 cross-cultural studies. Contempt appearing before a smile, fear flashing before false reassurance. These expressions cannot be consciously controlled. The human face is, in Ekman's exact words, a leaky system for emotional truth. Training your baseline observation requires a specific protocol. Before any critical conversation, spend the first 90 seconds asking neutral, comfortable questions you already know the answers to. Watch, record mentally. How do they sit? Where do their eyes naturally rest? What's their gesture rhythm? This is your calibration window. Every behavioral deviation during the actual conversation becomes statistically significant data against that honest baseline. Most people skip this. It's the single costliest mistake in deception detection. Wait, because the darkest part is coming. What the deception research reveals isn't just how to catch liars. It reveals something about yourself that most people are psychologically unprepared to confront. The same neurological mechanisms that make you susceptible to being deceived also make you, under certain conditions, an unconscious deceiver. Dr. Robert Feldman's research found that people lie more frequently when their self-esteem is threatened. Your protection mechanism and your vulnerability share the same neurological address. Now comes mastery. The scan technique, used by Israeli airport security and adapted by clinical psychologists, operates in 4 layers simultaneously. Statement analysis watches for linguistic distancing. Context analysis compares story details against environmental plausibility. Affect analysis monitors emotional timing mismatches, grief appearing after the words, not with them. Nonverbal analysis tracks baseline deviation. Operating these 4 channels simultaneously requires practice, but the individual components can be deployed separately starting immediately after this video. The most actionable single technique: ask an unexpected question mid-story. Liars construct narratives sequentially. They rehearse beginning to end. An unexpected question requiring reverse chronology: tell me about that moment, but starting from when you left, forces the brain to reconstruct rather than replay. Cognitive load spikes dramatically. Watch for the pause before speaking, the upward eye movement, the sudden decrease in speech fluency. These aren't proof of lying. They are red flags demanding deeper investigation. Emotional timing is the most underutilized detection tool available. In genuine emotional responses, the expression and the corresponding statement are neurologically synchronized. In fabricated emotion, there is a measurable delay. The brain constructs the narrative first, then signals the face. Watch specifically for smiles that appear after emotional statements, rather than with them. Watch for grief descriptions delivered without the facial microstructure of genuine sadness. The emotional timing gap is where the subconscious always tells the truth. In 1998, FBI agents were struggling to extract a confession from a suspect in a series of violent crimes in the Pacific Northwest. Lead behavioral analyst Mark Safarik deployed systematic baseline establishment combined with microexpression monitoring. During a routine question about his daily routine, the suspect displayed a 1/5 second contempt microexpression preceding a smile, the exact cluster Ekman identified as duping delight, the involuntary satisfaction of successful deception. That cluster, combined with linguistic distancing patterns, redirected the entire investigation. The case broke within 72 hours, not because of dramatic confrontation, but because understanding behavioral language created the precise investigative pressure that exposed the fabricated narrative's internal contradictions. The lesson isn't about interrogation. It's about this. The truth is always leaking from the human body. The face, the voice, the language structure, the emotional timing. They form a system that liars cannot completely control. You now carry the framework to read that system. The micro-expression that exposed the Pacific Northwest case was contempt, the asymmetrical lip curl lasting 0.04 seconds before a performed smile. That's the cluster I promised. Now you understand why. Contempt reveals superiority over the deceived. Every liar, at the moment of successful deception, feels it. The face betrays it. You've now been given the map most people never receive. If you want to understand the human mind without filters, subscribe. Tomorrow, we reveal the manipulation pattern every narcissist repeats. Does knowing this change who you trust?